Krásný dobrý den. Vítejte na mém kanále Czech by Zuzka, kde vám pomocí angličtiny vysvětluju českou gramatiku. Co na nás čeká dneska? What's waiting for us today? We are going to have a look at the difference between když and kdy. Because many times we can both translate them as when. So when to use kdy and when to use když. Kdy používat kdy a kdy používat když. Pojďte se podívat. Come take a look. There are two sentences. The first one says, když jsem ti volal, nebral si mi to. That means, when I called you, you were not picking up. Když jsem ti volal, nebral si mi to. Kdy ti mám zavolat? When should I call you? Kdy ti mám zavolat? So you notice that we translated both these words as when. When I was calling you or when I called you, you were not picking up. When shall I call you? Let's have a look at when to use kdy. Kdy, meaning when, is used in questions. For example, this is clearly a question. Kdy začíná ten koncert? When does the concert begin? Kdy? We are asking when. However, that question can be also expressed indirectly. Nevím, kdy začíná ten koncert. There is no question mark, but it is still kind of a question. I don't know when the concert begins. The question is right here. It is a question expressed in thought. I'm thinking, when does the concert begin? Kdy začíná ten koncert? Nevím. Now we put it together. Nevím, kdy začíná ten koncert. It would be the same if I add something before the question. Nevíš, kdy začíná ten koncert? Do you happen to know when the concert begins? So remember, kdy is used in questions, in direct or indirect questions. For those that like to hear the grammatical terms, I can say that this indirect question is a subordinate, it's an object clause, because I'm saying, I don't know what. What is it that I don't know? I don't know when the concert begins. So you could say it this way. What do I not know? Nevím, kdy začíná ten koncert. Let's look at a few examples with když. Když can be translated as when or if sometimes. Když would ideally be a part of two clauses. There would often be two clauses because it connects these two clauses. Oftentimes there is a condition. When something happens, something else follows. That condition would be expressed in present tense or future tense, not conditional. In grammatical terms, again, it would be zero conditional or first conditional. Let's see this example. Dědu bolí koleno, když prší. My grandfather's knee hurts when it rains. There is a condition. Every time it rains, when it rains, his knee hurts. There is present tense. Prší, bolí. These both are in present. So this would be the zero conditional. Every time it rains, his knee hurts. We could also switch the order. We could also say, když prší, dědu bolí koleno. Or it could also put it in a question. Bolí dědu koleno, když prší. Does my grandpa's knee hurt when it rains? So this would be a little tricky because you could think, oh, it's a question. It has to be kdy. But we are talking about a condition. We're not asking when is it that his knee hurts. We are asking about the condition, if this condition is true or not. Next sentence. Když nebudou mít papriky, kup rajčata. You're making a salad and you want something red, colorful. So you're sending someone to the grocery store. If they don't have bell peppers, buy tomatoes. Here we have future tense, nebudou mít, and kup is imperative relating to the present. This would be the first conditional. The condition here is if they don't have bell peppers, then buy tomatoes. Remember, the second or third conditional would not take když, we would use kdyby and kdybych and all those terms that I explained a couple of months ago. So once again, here it is translated as when, and when it's the first conditional, we would translate it as if. And there is also one more example for když, and that is when we have past tense in these clauses. It would still connect two clauses, but it would not talk about a condition, it would talk about an adverbial clause. What was the situation when something happened? Když jsem přišel do obchodu, neměli papriky ani rajčata. When I came to the store, they didn't have bell peppers or tomatoes. We translate it as when, we would not translate it as if in past tense. Past tense is here. Když jsem přišel a neměli. When I came to the store, they didn't have bell peppers or tomatoes. We have two clauses. We could also switch the order. We could say neměli papriky ani rajčata, když jsem přišel do obchodu. Sometimes it makes more sense to put it right at the beginning, so you can imagine immediately the situation. When was it that this happened? This is the adverbial clause of time, because we are asking, when is it that they didn't have bell peppers or tomatoes? Well, when I came to the store. We have to have these two pieces of information, because when you say neměli papriky ani rajčata, it is not complete. We need to know when this happened. Když jsem přišel do obchodu. When I came to the store. And also, if you take away this sentence, když jsem přišel do obchodu, you don't know the rest of the story, so you're missing a part. That's why když connects two pieces of information, then you get an idea when this happened or what is the condition if you use the present or future tense. So now let's go back to those questions that we saw at the beginning of the video. Now, when we go back to these sentences that I showed you at the beginning, does it make more sense? Let's have a look. Když jsem ti volal. We used když because it is connecting two clauses. I'm talking about the past and I am saying when this happened. If I don't use the last sentence, my thought is incomplete. Když jsem ti volal. When I called you. What? It's missing. Kdy ti mám zavolat? This is a question. It's a direct question. When shall I call you? And it is just one sentence which expresses the complete thought. I mentioned past tense and the connector when, but please keep in mind that sometimes you could also use this connector, and that is až. I spoke about this last year, so you can see the video. And I think I'm actually wearing the same shirt. That's not on purpose. That was just a coincidence. Let's look at our first exercise. Your task will be to complete these 4 sentences with kdy or když. But you also need to know the English translation, because as you can see, these 2 sentences are identical. The first sentence is, when are you coming home? It's a question. When are you coming home? Kdy přijdeš domů or když přijdeš domů? And the answer is kdy. Kdy přijdeš domů? It is a question. It's a direct question. And there is no other part of the sentence. It's not a condition. It's not an adverbial clause of time. If you got this right, super. Číslo 2. Neřekl mi. He didn't tell me when he was coming back. So this is a clause. You have 2 sentences. Is this an adverbial clause of time? Are we asking when something happened? Or is this a condition? If something happens, that something else follows? Or is this an object clause? No, this is an object clause because I am saying he didn't tell me what. What is it that he didn't tell me? Co mi neřekl? Also, we could think it has an indirect question right here. When is he coming back? That's my indirect question about the time. And then I put it into a sentence and it becomes an indirect question. He didn't tell me when he was coming back. Neřekl mi kdy. Neřekl mi, kdy se vrátí. Okay, now these 2. Dám ti vědět. I will let you know if I will be home. There is a condition. Once you know there is if and it's in present tense or future, then it's easy. You know it will be když. Dám ti vědět, když budu doma. I'll let you know if I'll be home. Když budu doma. Okay, I'll let you know when I'll be home. Now it has to be different, obviously. So, what is it that I will let you know? Or I'm asking, when will you be home? I'm asking about the time, and it becomes an indirect question. Dám ti vědět, kdy budu doma. Or, in other words, object clause. Okay, if you're still a bit confused about this, follow me to this part, second exercise, where we will have a look at a little bit more complex sentences and we will analyze them, why we use kdy or why we use když. So click on this video right here to watch more.